were you getting into today?
Man, I just finished a music session with a female artist.
You did?
Yeah.
How'd that go?
It went good, man. She did her thing. Yeah, man, the song was dope. So we finished it. So I'm gonna mix it down like sometime next week.
Okay, so like, let's get into it. So you produce music as well, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So let's start from the beginning. Where are you originally from, and how did you get into music?
I'm originally from New York, Brooklyn, New York.
Mm-hmm.
I originally just got into music, man. I was 4 years old and knew I could sing.
Mm-hmm.
And I started singing in New York. My father, he like really pushed me to practice and rehearse and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I wasn't really like in the church. Like, people think that I sang in church, but I wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
I just picked the gift up and I just knew I had it.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, no vocal training, no.
Wow.
Like, yeah. And I played the trumpet growing up, like in elementary school, junior high school.
Wow. Do you still play?
No. Because I got discouraged as a kid, man. My voice was like real high pitched when I was singing. Like, kids would tease me, so I was like, I would do it. Like, for me to sing for somebody, they used to have to turn their backs.
Wow. Oh,
don't look at me. I was shy. I used to be like, man, y'all turn around, please. And my father would be like, come on and sing. They'd be putting money out. And I just like, just turn around. Like, don't look at me. Yeah, because I was just shy as a kid. So
why do you think he pushed you so hard?
It's just the spirit in him to, he was a hustler. Like, my father was a hustler. So, my oldest sister, she could sing. And he just knew I had that gift.
Right.
He just pushed me. Like, he used to sit me down, make me watch Apollo, and, say things like, you really want it. Why aren't you up there? And I used to be a little kid, like, who's going to put me up there? Like, I can't do it on my own. He used to be like, there's no excuse why you're not up there.
Right.
So just that, man, that grind and that push. And, he used to make me sing Facing the Wall, and sing over and over again. So just stuff like that, man.
He wanted to make sure that you were like excellent in your gift.
Yes.
So do you feel like as a kid that kind of like, did you do it so much that it affected your childhood, or you had a pretty normal childhood?
No, I had a pretty normal childhood. I mean, him and my mom, like, I stayed with my mother. So, we would visit him on like the weekends, like every other week. But yeah, I mean, childhood, yeah, it didn't affect it. Because I did it when I wanted to do it, but when I was around him,
oh man,
he was
Matthew knows.
Did you practice? What did you do today? Like, went outside and play, but then you tell me you want to sing, like,
right,
that thing, man. And sometimes I didn't like it though. Sometimes, I just it really like aggravated me. But I understood, and we would just talk for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. Talk. So, and this thing like that's missing nowadays with this generation growing. That my mother and father, like, they weren't together, but he was still in our life. And but the conversations, like talking.
Right.
I didn't have an iPhone, like
phone. I have a TV. What?
TV. You had to stand there. He'd be like, "Move the antenna that way."
Oh, y'all had the floor mount, right? That sat on the floor.
You had to wait. You had to take turns holding the antenna,
man.
putting the aluminum foil on it.
Yes, I remember that. The dial on the TV.
So, it's just all of that, man. And so, yeah. But just basically, man, he would make me listen to Ray Charles and Sam Cooke, and then, you know, and then I just started, you know, as I got older, my voice got, you know, more deeper.
You had that Michael Jackson thing going on.
Yeah. You know, and it was just, whew. And I think the kids used to be jealous because I had a gift that that they didn't have.
Right.
You know, until one day some of the girls started liking it, and I was like, oh, all right. And, you know, and I started just singing in high school. I had a chorus, but during elementary school, I would in the band. I would not join the chorus class for nothing. I just wouldn't do it. Yeah, I wouldn't do it. I held in, and then
you hit it.
You know, so I started performing on the trains for money. In New York. Yep.
Oh wow! So when did you come to Charlotte?
I moved down to Charlotte in 2004. Yeah, I moved down here, man. It was, you know, because I was staying in a 1-bedroom in Vanderbilt projects, and I had a lot of rats. I had a lot of roaches, and I came down here to visit one of my friends. He had moved down here, and I smelled the air down here, and I was just like, oh my God. Like, you know, I knew that there was something better. You could feel it, you know. You just could feel it in your spirit. It's just like, there's something better out here for you. You know, and when I saw it, I was like, how the hell am I gonna get there? And just up and left.
Wow.
And ever since, like, I've been there. And, you know, came down here, I was about to do gospel. You know?
Oh. You just took a step of faith.
It's just that I can move anywhere. I can move anywhere and make it. Like, it's I don't believe that where we are, we should stay. Fact. I believe in moving around. You know, we're too comfortable. We're too comfortable as humans. You know, we get in relationships, people get married, and we settle, and that's not what God has planned for you.
Right.
When He gives you a gift, it's regardless if you rap, if you sing, it's not nothing about gospel and all that stuff. But you're supposed to travel, man. That's what the world is for.
Right.
You're supposed to go. You know, you have a talent. You're not supposed to be comfortable.
Right. Well, He gave you a talent to utilize. He didn't. You know, got so many people carrying talents that they're not even tapping into, and I'm like, I'm gonna use everything you gave me because that was free. That was free. So that's the blessing. It's what you do with it once you get it.
Yes.
So you started to say that you were gonna get into gospel. What happened?
When I did that, it was because I was singing in New York. I was like doing like a lot of talent shows and stuff. I would always come up short, and I didn't know. Like, I was just like singing on the trains. I didn't know what was going on. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Had my daughter, had my son.
Oh wow.
You know, and it was just like, what am I gonna do?
Right.
And I started reading the Bible, and one of my other friends, he stayed in South Carolina, but he was into the Bible and stuff like that. I started just reading the Bible, and you know what happens when you start doing that? You start trying to change for the better,
right?
And you're just a student, so now you looking at everybody else like, oh my God, look at them, look at that, you know.
Right.
You start judging, and you start like, so I got into that, and I noticed that when I went to go sing at the church, because I don't sing gospel songs like that. Right. I believe in telling a true story. And they scorned me so bad, and it hurt.
Ooh, at the church?
Yeah. Yeah. Like churches, they was like, you know, you can't come in here like this. This is the house of God, and that you can't sing songs like that. Like, can you imagine? I try to explain to people, can you imagine just singing about your mother for the rest of your career, or your father, for the rest of your career. You get what I mean? That's the same gospel music. You're just singing about God, 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 God. I know God be up there like, again, like you get what I'm saying? It's just weird.
Right.
It's like, so that's how I took it. Like, there's souls out here that need to be helped, but y'all are not doing it.
Right.
You know,
you went to the wrong church.
Yeah, I went to a few wrong churches.
Dang.
But yeah, because there's a lot of hustle out here, man. I mean, I can't knock it, you know. But I just pick up on stuff, and you know. So then after that, what ended up happening, make a long story short, I was doing gospel, and the whole time I was singing on the trains before I moved down here, I kept hearing this melody. I kept hearing it was going, oh.
Was it a live melody or it was in your head?
It was in my head.
I
kept hearing it over and over again, over and over again. I'm like, what is this melody in my head? So now, but then I get down here to Charlotte, and I said, man, later for this, I'm just gonna do me musically. I started playing the piano or whatever, and you know, I did a whole track, and it just kept going. It was on repeat. I got in an argument with my kid's mom at the time, and I just went back into the room. Matter of fact, my studio was in the closet. It was in like a walk-in closet. And tell me why that same melody that was in my head it was the song Special that ended up that I blew up off of.
Wow.
And I'm sorry, girl. That's what it was.
Okay, go ahead. Sing it. Hit me in there.
It's been a long, long time since I said I love you. And I know it's been a while since I took the time to hold you.
Okay.
Girl, take my hand and let me tell you how much you mean to me. And that you're special.
Okay,
I say it more. You know, so I was like, so yeah. And that was the song, like that whole time. I just kept hearing it. I'm talking about for years. I kept hearing that melody, and I was just like, and then we got into an argument, and I went and just recorded that. It came out like that. I didn't even know that was going to happen. And,
right. Well, do you believe in divine intervention? Like, you're not supposed to move your feet until God say move your feet. And he planted that seed in your head, and you heard it until you had to do something with that. So maybe do you think that this is a divine intervention? Maybe you weren't supposed to be doing gospel. Maybe this was exactly what you're supposed to be doing. Maybe inspiring people in another way.
Yes, I truly believe that.
Okay, all right.
I truly believe that. Because my whole career has been on that. Like I had a manager at the time. He was just like, basically, he lived in New York and I stayed down here. But he would give me CDs. And I would hit the streets. I'd be in Eastland Mall in front of the record store, Easy Records, selling my CDs. What year was that? 2006, 2007.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I was just
researched you. It was like 2006. That's as far back as it went. Okay.
Yeah, man. And it was just crazy. And then the song, this is what was really ill. The song took off, and I didn't even know. I had no clue. Power 98, they had the next big thing, and they played it. And it made the countdown the same day. Like, I went up there to the next big thing. They played it. Phone lines lit up. I went home. No Limit Larry called me. He said, yo, you made the countdown.
Wow.
I was like number 5. And that was the first time that ever happened.
Right.
And so months going by, I didn't even know that they were playing it. So I'm out selling I didn't know. I'm out selling my CDs. I got my radio. I'm walking down the street, walking up, what's it called? Redmond Road and Albemarle. I'm like right there. And there was a group of girls that was walking up. Now I'm walking, I just walked past them, and the song was playing on my radio. And they was like, yo, that's my jam. That's my song. And I'm looking like, huh?
And that's your song.
It. And I said, yo, that's me. They was like, you lying. They was like, what are you doing walking? I'm like, huh? Like, I'm going to go sell my CDs. And so I stopped and I started singing. And they was like, oh, and I, gave them autographs. Mm-hmm. And then people started coming to Eastland. I'm standing there selling CDs. And people start coming in the store. Mm-hmm. I'm out there. They're like, yo, you got this song called, I don't know, like I'm Sorry Girl or Special is by Jus K. And then the owner of the store, Easy Records, because, I would give him a cut.
Right.
He was like, that's him right there. Mm-hmm. They were like, huh? And it was my CD. But so every time I sold it, they would go in the store, he would scan it and then, but it was crazy, man. And then I'd send it to a radio station and then it just blew up. I mean, that's when it really blew up. Like,
wow.
Out in Roanoke Rapids, all that up there in Emporia, Virginia, all that up there in Florida, Tennessee, Mississippi. It was everywhere, man. I'm talking about it blew up, like blew up.
Terrestrial radio. It did more than like with an indie. Would you consider yourself at that time an independent artist?
Yes, but I didn't know what I was doing though.
Right, you just stumbled.
Everything was happening because of God. Like,
right. That's
I'm just
right.
letting my dogs out. Everything was happening because of God, man. Like, I had nothing. It was no money. It was no tricks. It was it was none of that, man. It was just straight God. Mm-hmm. What ended up happening, the other radio station that played it, he had called and he was like, yo, the programming director, he was like, we doing us a talent show and we want you to judge. So I was like, okay, cool. So I go get down to where was it at? I think it was in Emporia, Virginia. It was I can't remember exactly where, but it was a theater, and I go in there, and it was like 1,000 people in the audience. Mm-hmm. So I'm sitting up at the top. He was like, "Yeah, and I want you to perform too." And I had to judge this talent show, so I'm sitting there, I'm writing down, scoring. I'm one of the judges. And then he said, the host was like, "Yeah, and after this, Jus K will be performing." And I heard, the crowd lit up. Now I didn't know.
Right, that you be performing.
and I didn't know that the crowd knew
who you were.
The song, yeah. So everybody trying to see, they looking around to see who Jus K is. So finally I go, and the way the crowd was going, they was screaming, Jus K, like for me to come. I mean, it was like 1,000 people out there. That was the first time that ever happened to me. Wow. Ever. So I'm backstage. And I hit him, so I'm like, I had like a 4-song set, and something told me in my head, once again, it was like, don't do no other songs, do special. Mm-hmm. And when that music came on, and I came from the back of the stage, the whole front row, it was like, they jumped on stage,